Hello guys, next episode of Yevhen applies, and one of my friends suggested for me to apply to a job in Aramco company, so I decided to do exactly that this time. That's my third episode of Yevhen applies. I checked this digital solution specialist relocate to Saudi Arabia job because this is the closest to my experience because I've led agile development, digital agile development, ideation, and things like that. I have strong knowledge of how to do exactly that and how to deliver software. And I have knowledge in portfolio management for IT solutions as well. And I meet these requirements as well. So I think this job is the best suited for me to try. And what I did is I generated the project out of this job, of course, and created a game environment. So now we will try to manage a portfolio of projects, hopefully. I'm not sure if AI would get that, but hopefully portfolio of projects based on the job description that I uploaded into my game, and let's see whether I'm gonna manage to manage this portfolio successfully. Okay, so first onboarding session, and it's with PMO director. Probably it's not going to be with PMO director if we're talking portfolio management, but maybe. Congratulations on joining Aramco Digital and Computing Strategy Department. We're at a crucial jungle in our digital transformation efforts, and you're here because we need results fast. No specifics are provided. You're expected to probe for details. Okay. So first, review of current status. And key discoveries that were made by me, obviously. Over budget and delayed execution. The digital flagship programs are burning money with little to show for results. Okay. Fragmented digital roadmap. Multiple teams working in silos, AI, automation, cloud, and cybersecurity all disconnected. Vendors lock-in procurement delays. We need to solve that somehow. Major delays in hardware and software procurement due to bureaucracy. Hopefully this is not the case. I've heard that in Aramco, actually, some of my friends complained that Aramco have too strict standards for quality, security, that even leads to frustration among the vendors who work with Aramco. So yeah, that might be the case. The bureaucracy might be too strict and too rigid. Data governance nightmares, inconsistent data standards, governance and compliance issues. That doesn't look like Aramco, to be honest, but maybe, okay, let's see. So this game, naturally, when I designed this game, it was meant to create the worst possible environment ever in my life, basically. And if I'm gonna manage this and successfully, it means that I can manage anything that is easier than that. That's the goal of this game, anyway. Security and compliance red flags. Okay, we need to solve them as well. Cloud and on-premise debate. Aramco IT security policies are resisting full cloud adoption. Okay. Resistance from traditionalists. Wow. Senior engineers still favor traditional manual workflows. I don't know why is that, but okay. AI and analytics not operationalized. I certainly I've seen a lot of senior engineers who don't want to change anything in terms of processes. That's fine. If they are used to processes that are bad, but they know exactly what they need to do, and they are comfortable because they are sort of linchpins, and you can't fire them because they are the only ones who know this legacy system that was designed and created 20 years ago. Maybe that's why they love traditional workflows, but we need to tackle that problem, of course. AI and analytics not operationalized. Data-driven decision making is talked about but not implemented. I know that in Aramco this is not the case again, but we assume that this is the case, okay, for the sake of the game. Hidden issues you must uncover through deep investigation. Let's not go there. Actions and monthly decision making. Okay. Final outcomes. PMO. Game philosophy. No easy. Our mission. Survive 6 months. Improve what you can. Avoid complete failure. Welcome to Aramco. Your crisis has begun. Okay. So first, I need to review the documentation that we have. So is it a portfolio of projects? Let me double check that. Digital flagship programs. Okay. On digital flagship programs. So that's the first step. And I'm gonna use speech to text to avoid writing a lot of text. Okay. So first things first, I need to review documentation that we have on these digital flagship programs to make sure I understand why we're burning money with little to show for results. What is the reason for that? There might be many different reasons for that, and I need to do that before we even take any action. For the fragmented digital roadmap, multiple teams working in silos, AI, automation, cloud, and cybersecurity, all disconnected. Mainly, this is solved by breaking down these silos, and we need to think of team composition. Again, I can't perform any action right now, but I need to look at team composition closely, and maybe if they work in silos, it's because they are using component teams, like AI is a component team, automation is a component team, cloud is a component team, cybersecurity same. And maybe if we would build like feature teams where AI, automation, cloud, and cybersecurity specialists work together on some sort of feature or a project as part of the program, or the whole program. And maybe we can have some sort of set of feature teams, maybe plus component teams. I don't know yet. I need to understand that. Like, maybe this would solve this problem. Of course, we'll have other set of problems with AI, with Agile teams, but feature teams. But still, this might be better than what we have now. Okay, so I need to understand team composition and what is the reason for these silos? Do we have a lot of interdependencies in these programs? And they are basically unmanageable because of these silos, then we have to break down these silos. If there is reason for that, because I know that Aramco consists of many like departments, and they have this bridge structure, or almost like military-like structure, because it was derived from military, right? Which means that Aramco is used to working in silos, basically, and Aramco is very good at that. So maybe we don't need to do that. But for software delivery, mainly, I would say that we still need to think of feature teams because of high complex environment. So we need to think of feature teams for sure. Okay, the next is vendor lock-in procurement delays. Major delays in hardware and software procurement due to bureaucracy. Again, I know that this is often the case, and mainly this is the case because of rigid and extremely high standards for quality in Aramco. So we need to review quality standards. We need to think of whether the approach we have right now hinders progress. Like, for example, if what happens right now is, let's say we have this huge, like high, almost unachievable quality standard, and then the team has to build a lot for each single and every single feature to just reach this standard, just to send this feature for review by the business. Then maybe we spend a lot of effort to build some sort of MVP solutions and get the feedback from users. Then we need to change this approach. We need to start working closely with the business where we build something that is suboptimal in terms of quality, but it allows us to gather feedback from the business. And then, after we get the feedback, we adapt and improve, and we adapt and improve to the level where we achieve the quality. Maybe this approach, agile approach, would be better in our scenario. So we need to think of that. Again, we need to work closely with the vendors to understand the problem better before we even start changing something. The next is data governance nightmares, inconsistent data standards, governance and compliance issues. Okay. So for the inconsistent data standards, we need to, just one second. For the inconsistent data standards, we need to review where we use them across the portfolio or a program, whatever I'm managing right now, I'm not sure. And we need to review these standards and make sure that we use one standard for data. We first develop this standard and then use it and then impose it on others. If for some reason we can't impose this data standard on like third parties, vendors we work with, and maybe other departments within Aramco, then we need to figure out the way how we can still use this one data standard, but have some sort of data like layer, integration layer, that would allow us to bring this data that we get to the right format for one single data standard. For the governance, we need to understand who manages data and who is responsible for what. So I need to understand whether we have some issues with governance right now, and if so, what are they? Maybe I would speak with teams in AI, automation, cloud, and cybersecurity teams, if these are the teams I'm managing right now, and maybe stakeholders from the business as well, to understand better what are the problems in terms of governance. Compliance issues. I need to speak to compliance engineers and compliance officers to understand again what are the compliance issues. Is it like internal, like adherence, how they call it in Saudi, or is it external compliance, right, to some sort of government regulations maybe. So I need to understand what are the issues. Okay, so I forgot about the fragmented digital roadmap, which was the name of the issue. We definitely need to review the roadmap as part of the documentation that we're going to review and see why it's fragmented and whether we can maybe improve it to the level where it's usable, if it's right now not usable, if I understand correctly. The next issue is cloud vs on-premise debate. Aramco's IT security policies are resisting full cloud adoption. Again, I need to understand why is that. So IT security policies, if we have them, we definitely need to adhere to them. And we need to understand how they are blocking progress. And if they are blocking progress, actually, then we need to understand what we're going to do with that. If we work around that and we're able to do so, that's fine. If we can't work around that and they're blocking some projects, then maybe we need to close these projects. And also we can work with IT, security officers or compliance officers, whoever, and figure out maybe we can change policies, because maybe these policies, when they were adopted and created, they were not fit for the projects or programs that I'm managing right now. So we need to figure out this as well. The next one is resistance from traditionalists. Senior engineers still favor traditional manual workflows. For that, I need to meet with traditional senior engineers who favor manual workflows and discuss why is that. Why do they resist change? What are the reasons for that? If the reasons are legit, this might be the case. maybe because the automated workflows are causing some issues. Then we need to figure out the way to solve these issues and maybe initiate new projects or like programs within the portfolio to solve issues that arise from the automated workflows. Or we maybe have to change business processes around these workflows. Maybe business processes are now like damaged in some way because of the automation. So we need to work closely with them. I would need business analysts with that for that as well to better understand the issue, because again the company is huge and probably these workflows would span across many departments, and I need these business analysts to go through the whole process spanning many departments and see where this process fails, if that's the case with these traditional manual workflows. And this is the risk that senior engineers see. Okay, so yeah, I need business analysts to go through the whole process and review and make sure that we understand where the process fails and fix that somehow, if that's the issue. If this is not the issue, and maybe they resist change because they fear that their position in the company might be like somehow compromised, right? Maybe they are not needed anymore because of the automation. Then we need to work with them to make sure they understand their place in the new, better world with this automation in place. And maybe they are gonna join other projects. Maybe they will do different work. Maybe we are gonna upskill them. Whatever is gonna happen, I need to work with them on that. Or delegate it to maybe project managers who work on this automation or automated workflows, if I can do so. But still, we need to make sure that we manage this change properly, including assessment of the readiness for change, which is going to be targeting solution for this problem. Okay. AI and analytics not operationalized. Data-driven decisions making is talked about, but not implemented. Okay, so for AI and analytics not operationalized, we need to figure out whether we are ready for AI implementation and full-blown AI enhanced analytics, because it will hugely depend on the quality of data that we have. Because if the data is of poor quality, then AI that is going to be implemented on top of the data will provide insights of the poor quality based on the poor quality data. So we need to fix the data first to the level where AI enhancement and RPA and other stuff makes sense. So yeah, again, review the data, figure out pathway to improve the data and reach stage where the data quality is sufficient for us to improve it with AI and build some sort of enhanced dashboards or analytics or reports that would help us make informed decisions. Okay, hidden issues, we won't look at that. So yeah, right now I want us to start this investigation and look at the results of the investigation. And I need them in details, of course. Okay, so now I would add all that as text. Whatever I just talked about, I am adding that. And now we are ready for our first step in the game, which is getting more into the details and into the context. No. Hey, AI, come on. You generate the outcomes of this investigation. Okay, finally. Because that's what I was after, right? This AI. My idea was that AI is gonna generate the outcomes of decisions that we make or investigations we conduct, and then we can progress through the game. That's the idea. So I'm not. I don't have to upload any documentation or data. That would be crazy. Why are we burning money? Findings. High investment, low returns. Multiple projects have been initiated with massive budgets, but there is no visible impact on efficiency or profitability. Okay. Lack of defined metrics. That's never the case in Aramco, by the way, but okay. KPIs and success criteria are unclear or missing. Okay, let's assume that's the case. No one agrees on what success looks like. Duplication of efforts. Different teams are working on similar solutions independently. Okay, we need to review the portfolio of projects that we have for projects within the program. Vendor dependencies. Large portion of the budget have gone to external consultants and vendors, yet internal capability building is minimal. That might be a problem long term, but maybe short term we get to save some time. Slow decision making. Every approval process is long and complex, delaying execution. Tech stack not fully integrated. AI automation, cloud solutions, installation. Okay. Fragmented digital roadmap and silo teams. Findings. Teams work in isolation. AI automation, cloud, and as separate units with minimal collaboration. Rigid component team structure is specifically functioned as a service provider rather than a cross-functional team aligned with business goals. Yeah. Lack of cross-disciplinary expertise. So automation engineers don't understand AI, which is fine, to be honest. Cloud engineers don't align with cybersecurity policies, which is also okay as long as they collaborate. But they don't collaborate, that's the problem. Competing priorities. Some teams prioritize security while others push for rapid deployment, creating conflicting goals. Yeah. Aramco bureaucratic structure encourages silos. Traditional hierarchical structure fosters departmental silos. Again, Aramco is very good at working in that specific setting, so it's not the case. It's not the problem. I don't see that as a problem yet. Conclusion: the organization must shift from component teams to feature teams. Okay, where AI, automation, cloud, and together on projects. This will reduce interdependencies and increase collaboration. Fine. Vendor lock-in and procurement delays. Extreme quality standards demand military-grade quality, which slows down approvals, complex procurement processes. Every purchase requires multi-tiered approvals and involves long negotiations. I wouldn't say that every purchase is like that. I'm pretty sure that in procurement department, like if it's a simple purchase of a pen or whatever, a laptop, it just goes automatically without even, I'm pretty sure this is automated already. But maybe every big purchase or every procurement of some sort of project or a strategic initiative requires multi-layered, multi-tiered approvals, and that's logical because you're buying something for like a lot of money and you want this to do this right. Vendor favoritism. Some suppliers have long-term exclusive contracts limiting competition. It doesn't look like Aramco at all. I know that in Aramco, most procurement is done via open tender, favoring, of course, local suppliers. So yeah, I don't think this is going to be the case. The only way this might be the case is when we have like one supplier for something because of sheer scale, for example, right? We need millions of tons of concrete, let's say, and only one supplier can actually deliver that much. then we will have long-term exclusive contracts with these people. Yeah, and this is logical because we'll only have one supplier. So we have strategic partnership with someone. That's fine. Okay, anyway, delayed software licensing. IT security policies restrict procurement of cloud-based software, requiring long compliance reviews. Okay. Again, fine with me. I don't see a problem yet. Minimal internal development. The company relies on external vendors rather than building an in-house expertise. Yeah, so many thousands of people in Aramco, and we have a lot of developers as well. I know that, but still, I know that a lot of software is developed by external consultants, and Aramco still procures a lot of that. So that's fine. Conclusion. I don't want the conclusion. Data governance nightmares. No unified data standard. Each department manages its own data format, making integration difficult. Lack of ownership. No one is fully accountable for data governance. Okay. Compliance uncertainty. Teams are unsure which regulatory framework applies. Data silos. AI team lack access to structured high-quality data due to bureaucratic restrictions. So AI teams lack access to structured data. Okay, we need to solve that. Cloud vs on-prem debate. Security policies favor on-prem, of course. That's fine. Cloud-based services restricted. Many cloud software solutions fail to meet compliance standards. So, yeah, again, we need to work closely on case-by-case basis in terms of data. If we can store them on internal servers and protect the data, that's fine. If the data is needed elsewhere and we need to share this data and it makes more sense to store it on the cloud, again, that's fine. Hybrid approach is not defined. There is no clear hybrid strategy, both cloud and on-premise infrastructure. Okay. Security policies must be updated to accommodate hybrid cloud solutions while ensuring compliance. A clear framework is needed to determine which data can be cloud hosted. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So we need to figure out case by case, look at projects that we have in the program, and see why data for that specific project has to be, for example, on the cloud versus on the server within Aramco. And again, if, for example, we need this data to be accessible by people all over the world, and many thousands of people would try to access this data, it makes sense to host this data on the cloud, and maybe in many regions as well, not just on the cloud. But if the data is, for example, employee data or whatever that is only used within Aramco, it makes sense to host it internally for higher security. That's fine as well. So we need to review what data we are talking about exactly, and then figure out the way forward. Okay, resistance from traditionalists. Findings. Senior engineers favor manual workflows. Many legacy employees resist automation due to fear of job displacement, concern over reliability. Established manual workflows are preferred. Automated workflows are causing business disruptions, lack flexibility, and make problem solving harder. Lack of change management strategy. There has been no structured transition plan for employees moving from manual to automated workflows. We need to target that. That's the problem. Okay. AI analytics not operationalized. Poor data quality. The AI models are fed with low quality, inconsistent data, reducing reliability. No business alignment. AI use cases are developed without consulting business teams. It's another problem. Technical gaps. The AI team lacks domain expertise, leading to misaligned models. Okay. So we need to fix that as well somehow. Whether we can bring in expertise from abroad or external expertise, or we can hire within the company maybe. Let's see how it goes. Hidden issues, we don't want to look at that. Okay. Next steps before Aramco. What are we gonna do next? Okay. Let's look at that and let's figure out our first action that we're gonna take. And let's just work on issues one by one, because I would probably have time. I would have 1 month to do so, so I don't see this as a problem. Okay, for the data governance. Data governance is not the first. Okay, so digital flagship problems. Why are we burning money? So high investment, low returns. Multiple projects have been initiated with massive budgets, but there is no visible impact on efficiency or profitability. So first thing we need to do is we need to have a workshop with key business stakeholders for the program that I'm managing to review the I assume we should have some sort of benefits management plan or benefits realization plan or some sort of strategy for this program. And we need to review all components of the program and see how and understand how these components impact achievement of this strategy, objectives, goals that we have. If the program or component does not bring any meaningful impact towards strategic goals or objectives, we need to close these components and relocate resources to other components that are doing exactly that. Then we need to review the duplication of efforts, find out why this is happening, and figure out the way to prevent this from happening in future, and also fix that somehow. If different teams are working on similar solutions, we need to assess these solutions worked by these teams and select the most promising solution, close the other solution, and again readjust the team composition and maybe move people from the team that was working on the solution that is not as promising to the team that is working on the promising solution or to other initiatives within the program. Vendor overdependence. Large portion of the budget have gone to external consultants and vendors, yet internal capability building is minimal. Okay, we need to work with the sponsors. I again assume that we have some sort of sponsorship for the program. We need to work with the sponsors to understand the strategy for this program. Are we gonna just build projects and then as soon as the projects are done, we will move the results of the project to operations, close programs, and we don't need these developers with the knowledge around these programs. No one needs to maintain them in future or something. Then we can still rely on vendors and external consultants. If we want to continue building on top and we aim to build for many years and improve and adjust and add features, add projects and everything like that, then it makes sense to build internal expertise that we will leverage for many years. So what I would do is I would restructure contracts with vendors for them, instead of just building solutions for us and keeping all the developers themselves, I would ask them to build development centers for us on their side, but then hand them over to us. So instead of just, for example, providing the team and then getting the team back as soon as the initiative is finished, I would ask them to build the team for us. And when the team is there, it's cohesive, it knows how to work in a meaningful fashion, and it has proper management in place and proper workflows in place. Then they can hand them over to us, and we will manage this team internally now. It's going to become our internal team after that. So that would be my main focus working with this vendor over dependency. In terms of slow decision making, I again need to review the governance that we have. Do we have some sort of steering committee? Do we have sponsorship from the like constraint side and project side? Again, do we have sponsorship from the management side? Do we have sponsorship from the business side? Do we have some sort of steering committee that would be responsible for strategy execution? And if so, are we facilitating these meetings with the steering committee in terms of strategy, where we would review projects within and programs as well, and somehow figure out the best possible set of projects and programs to deliver the strategy? If no, we need all that. I need to work on all of that. But again, I need to review this at this point. Tech stack not fully integrated. AI, automation, and cloud solutions are implemented in isolation rather than as part of a holistic strategy. Okay, so for that, what we need to do is we need to change the team composition to feature teams with support of component teams if needed, and we need to figure out the best possible way of doing so. For that, we need to meet with the team and maybe team leads of all teams and key stakeholders from the project team or program team, and figure out what would be the best composition possible in terms of skill sets. And then we would have another meeting or maybe a set of workshops with the whole team, all hands, where we would discuss how we would restructure teams to fit this new approach. Because what I need is for them to self-organize. I don't want to impose this new structure on them. I want them to tell me how they are going to deliver projects within the program in the best possible way. What is the team composition that would do that? I want the team to figure this out. I will facilitate together with like project leaders or other managers that we have on the team. But I need people on the team to be drivers of that with our mentorship and guidance. Okay. The next one is fragmented digital roadmap and silo teams. Teams work in isolation, AI, automation, cloud, separate units with minimal collaboration. We've actually tackled that already, so that's fine. Lack of cross-disciplinary expertise. Okay, so we've tackled the issue that teams work in isolation, and we discussed that. About the lack of cross-disciplinary expertise, I need to understand why this is a problem. If we have some sort of bottlenecks that appear here and there, and that would be much easier to tackle by just having, for example, AI engineers learn how to do like automation or figure out a little bit of cybersecurity to make sure that they incorporate it into their workflows or work, that's fine. Then we can actually train them. If this lack of cross-disciplinary expertise does not lead to any bad outcomes, then we can just skip that and avoid this. We don't need to solve that. If we still need to solve that, I would encourage pair programming, where AI specialist and cybersecurity specialist work together on one computer. So AI engineer and cybersecurity team specialist, they work together on one computer and delivering something where AI specialist would build, and then cybersecurity guy would point out what is the issue from cybersecurity perspective or point of view. And I would ask them to pair program and actually have these workshops as part of the culture for the team. So I would encourage that. Again, I wouldn't do this myself. I would delegate that to team leads or whoever we have on teams to make sure that we have these knowledge sharing practices. Again, center of excellence or other knowledge sharing practices might be good to solve this specific issue. Again, but I'm not sure if this is an issue or not. So I wouldn't solve it if this is not the issue. Competing priorities. Some teams prioritize security, some rapid deployment, and some creating conflicting goals. If we are gonna have feature teams, this would prevent this from happening. So we would have people with different expertise to collaborate on one feature. Therefore, they would have to have consensus in terms of security, in terms of deployment, everything. And this is not going to be a problem. So hierarchical structure fosters departmental silos or isolation. Again, Aramco is really good at that, so I wouldn't do anything with that yet. I need to understand better why this is a problem. So, for example, if we don't have enough involvement from the business, then we need to encourage people from the business to join teams as product owners, for example, for key stakeholders of the business. They could join as product owners or product managers and help teams develop best possible solutions, providing expertise from the business side and from the business perspective. But I need more information on that. What exactly is the issue? The next one is vendor lock-in and procurement delays. Extreme quality standards. Aramco demands military-grade quality assurance, which slows down approval. Compliance procurement processes. Every purchase requires multi-tiered approvals and involves long negotiations. Vendor favoritism. Some long-term, delayed software licensing. IT security policies restrict procurement of cloud-based software, requiring long compliance reviews. This might be the problem. Okay. Minimal internal development. The company relies on external vendors rather than build in-house expertise. We talked about it already, so we don't need to talk it anymore. For the quality standards, we need to adhere to these standards. But if the standards themselves are not a good fit for our program, we need to work with whoever is responsible for these standards within the company to adjust the standards. If they don't make sense because maybe they are outdated or maybe they do not account for that specific type of the project or a program. So we need to figure out what is the problem and work around that. If the standard makes sense and was designed to prevent issues from happening, and we just need to adhere to these standards, that's fine. Complex procurement processes. Again, I know this is not the case in Aramco, to be honest. Not about the procurement processes. I mean, for everything that relies long negotiation, I think that's going to be fine. So, right now what we need is work with procurement team to speed things up where we can. And maybe even recruit people from procurement to join our feature teams, to be part of the feature teams, to speed up the procurement because they're involved and they're on the front line. They know everything, and they can even plan the procurement in advance. So if it's possible for procurement managers to be part of the teams, and I don't mean full-time, I mean they can join the team maybe once a week for the meeting, or maybe a couple times a week for the meeting, but they are going to be assigned to this team, and they would help the team from procurement perspective. This would help break down silos and speed things up, I hope. So this is also one of the possibilities, but I need to speak to the procurement department head to figure out if this is even possible or not. And if I have face resistance, maybe I would need to seek help from the project sponsors. Okay, the next one is data governance nightmares. No unified data standard. Each department manages its own data format, making integration difficult. Okay, then either we need an integration layer that is accounted for. So either we need an integration layer that is accountable for that, and basically we have all these various data formats coming our way, and then they go through the integration layer to get formatted into whatever we need, and then we use unified format from this point onwards. This is not ideal solution, but that's what works. And again, then we need a team that would support this integration layer, and we need rigid monitoring and logging in place to make sure we capture issues within the integration layer. Because let's say, for example, we implemented it, and then one of the departments changed something in terms of the data that they sent our way. Then when it goes through the integration layer, the data will be corrupt. The data we get will be corrupt. And after we get this corrupt data, we will have issues in terms of like bugs and incidents all over the place. And if we don't have robust monitoring and logging in place within the integration layer, we would not understand where this issue comes from. Because it's going to be intermittent, right? Because it's just this piece of data from that specific department sometimes, and it will be a nightmare to manage. But with rigid monitoring and logging in place, we would get away with that probably. Lack of ownership. No one is fully accountable for data governance. I need to work around that. We need workshops with key stakeholders from the team and from the governance board as well, where we would maybe create a RACI matrix to determine accountability, who's accountable for what, who's responsible for what, in terms of data governance. Because unless we do this, we will never succeed. Because if no one is accountable for the data governance, then no one is pushing for that. And in ideal world, whoever feels the most pain that the data governance isn't there should be accountable for data. The next is compliance uncertainty. Again, in ideal world, I would prefer compliance officers to be part of teams and work with them closely to review the scope of what's been built and how this might impact compliance. AI teams lack access to structured high-quality data due to bureaucratic restrictions. Again, I need to work with compliance officers and AI teams to determine what access do they need and why, and how we can provide this access to them. Maybe instead of access to actual data, we can generate mock data for them, and they can use mock data for their development instead of using actual data, if that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense, then again, yeah, but for AI, if they are working on some sort of reports, AI enhanced reports, then of course access to actual data is crucial. But we need to work with team leads, compliance officers, and whoever is responsible for data governance to figure out the right access for these people, for AI teams, to avoid this issue from happening. Cloud vs on-prem debate. Again, we need to look at pieces of data that we have, and for each piece of data, we need to figure out whether we need it to host it on internal servers or on the cloud, depending on who and how is going to use that piece of data. For some internal data of employees, let's say, or documentation that we have within Aramco, we would store this on internal servers, of course, because this is more secure. For the public projects, let's say we have some sort of e-procurement or ERP system where other vendors, external vendors, and many people have to have access to some data that we publish. Then it makes sense to host it on the cloud because this allows simpler and smoother access for many people. Because if we host, for example, a website with publicly available information on our internal server in Saudi, and someone from US is trying to access it, they would experience long delays just because the server is so far away from them. Yeah, so we need to make sure that we have like informed decision that makes sense in terms of data governance and how we store the data. And maybe we will call all that a hybrid approach. That's fine. Yeah, we can just call that a hybrid approach to data governance and cloud vs on-prem solution, and we can have some sort of hybrid strategy. Resistance from traditionalists, I'm not sure if we talked about it, but anyway, just to reiterate, we need to talk to these people. We need to make sure that we create a plan for them, how they're going to live in the new world, and help them find their place in the new world with automated workflows. And hopefully, because Aramco is so big, we don't have to fire them even when we automate some workflows. We can just ask them to work on other stuff for us, and maybe we can use these as additional resources for other initiatives we have within the program. If we don't have any work for them within the program after the workflows are automated, we need to make sure, and again, I would delegate that to team leads where these people reside, or I would do it myself if there is no one to do that. I would work with them to find a new initiative, a new project, a new program for them within Aramco. I would work with HR department, with recruiting, with my fellow like program portfolio managers or whoever project managers that we have to find the new place for these people, to make sure that we have this smooth transition for them after the workflows are automated. And for the change management strategy, again, key thing here is I would encourage this to be managed as a project. So we would have project managers to manage change-related projects with addition of assessment of readiness for change at the beginning, and at the end, we need also to work on sense-making activities to make sure that people support the change. And then we need to control that the change sticks, and we need controls in place to ensure that the change sticks. These automated workflows are used, and we need to stop using manual workflows and make it impossible to use manual workflows in time to ensure that we're using these new automated workflows. And if people resist this change, we need to perform sense-making activities to explain to people why automated workflows are preferable, why they are better, and how we solve issues that arise from the automation that we have. Okay, the last piece is AI and analytics not operationalized. Findings: poor data quality. The AI models are fed with low quality, inconsistent data. No reducing reliability. No business alignment. AI use cases are developed without consulting business teams, making them impractical. And technical gaps. The AI team lacks domain experts, leading to misaligned models. Okay. All three are extremely important, and we need to solve all three. For the data quality, we need to work with whoever is responsible for the data, and we will do that after we have this data governance issue solved. We need to work with them and with technical guys to figure out pathway to having good, reliable data. Again, I don't expect perfect data, 100%, ideal, but maybe reliable enough for AI models to work as we expect. So we need workshops on that. For the business alignment, we need people from the business to join our teams as product owners, product managers, to provide the right use cases for us and explain how this is going to be used, and then try it, test it, whatever we build, and give us feedback. This is extremely important. That's crucial. And they need to be in the center and in the thick of it. So we need to build for them. We need to repurpose the thing, the whole development process that we have right now. So I would work with stakeholders from the business, key stakeholders from the business, and I would encourage them to join teams. Again, maybe not full time, but they need to be part of the teams and at least provide business insights in terms of how features should work. So business insights in terms of how features should work. What are the priorities? And then feedback when the features are built of whether this is usable and how can we improve. So I need them to be extremely important part of the team. For the technical gaps, I would work with, if we have functional managers, I would work with functional managers or line managers of the people for that specific expertise and domain in AI domain. If we don't have these people in Aramco, I would work with hiring managers, or I would work with the portfolio governance board or whoever to figure out whether we're gonna hire these people or we're gonna bring in external consultants as maybe part-time, where they would just share the expertise with the team or do some stuff for us on per project basis. Okay, hidden issues. I wouldn't look at that first. And yeah, we are ready for the next advancement. It is much more difficult. Not difficult, but a lot of things are happening. More than I'm used to in this project. Maybe because I got more information when we started working on this specific project. Okay. So let's see how it goes. Okay. So, what happened? Let's see what happened. Flagship program review and rationalization. Objectives: stop resource waste by assessing whether program components contribute to strategic objectives. So that's the first thing we did. Workshop with key business stakeholders and sponsors. Review benefits realization plan. Assess whatever. Okay. No. Oh, sorry. I need results of actions taken. Please generate and show us what is the progress after actions we took. Okay, because it is not doing what I wanted to do. So I need to like hit it with the stick basically, because otherwise, yeah, it's not doing that. So overall summary: positive progress areas: cost efficiency, increased decision-making speed, improved team collaboration, AI adoption acceleration. Issues that are persistent: vendor transition delays. We still have issues with that. Data governance still in progress. Okay, no clear owner for data integration. For some reason it didn't work, the workshop that we wanted to conduct. Security and compliance friction. Okay. Flagship program review and realization. Action taken: workshops with business stakeholders to review the benefits realization plan. Identified 4 program components that did not align with corporate strategy. Okay, we need to close them. Close non-impactful projects, relocating, however, millions in budget. Okay. Redirected teams from closed projects to more valuable initiatives. Results, however, many millions. This is like a secret, because NDA and Aramco, so we won't tell you how many millions we've saved. We will just relocate this money to something more meaningful. So we relocated these resources to high impact projects. Business units now more engaged in digital transformation discussions. Amazing. Okay, that went well. Eliminating duplication of efforts. Progress. First of all, we analyzed duplicated solutions across IA, automation, and cloud teams, selected best performing solutions, and discontinued lower value alternatives, merged multiple teams into new focused project teams. Result. So we have 3 redundant projects that were eliminated by doing that. About 6 months of dev time was saved, which is amazing. And developers from discontinued projects deployed to high impact initiatives. Nice. And we have better alignment of solutions with business requirements. Great. Vendor strategy and internal capability building progress. Okay, objective: reduce vendor reliance, build internal expertise. Actions taken: initiated vendor knowledge transfer agreements. Started training programs for internal teams to take over vendor build solutions. I did not tell that we're gonna do that. That's his initiative. I didn't do that. So I was talking about training, but not in that context. Negotiated contract restructuring with 3 key vendors. First knowledge transfer session complete. Internal teams now managing 20% of vendor solutions. This is never gonna happen. So AI is that's the wishful thinking right there, guys. Because it's like within 1 month we renegotiated contract and we had first knowledge transfer session completed, and we are managing 20% of vendor solutions, and all of that in just 1 month. It's like highly unlikely, I would say that. Highly unlikely. It's a very difficult process, and I would say that, yeah, that's amazing progress. I'm taking that. That's fine with me. Estimating long-term cost savings of however many millions again. I'm saving millions, guys. We're saving millions, which is good. Some vendors resist transition, requiring further negotiations. Okay, if they resist transitions, we just will discontinue their contracts, and we need to review the contracts and see whether we can just close contracts with them and redo the procurement again for these components, or if the fees for early cancellation of the contracts or breaking the contracts are too high, then we can just let them continue, let them go on, and then when the contracts are done, we just won't renew. Okay. Streamlining decision-making and governance progress. So objective was to improve agility by reducing governance bottlenecks. We established a steering committee to oversee digital strategy execution, defined clear approval paths for digital initiatives, integrated business leaders into digital decision-making. Amazing. Results. Decision-making speed improved by 30%. That's really good. And I never seen this kind of KPI in my life, to be honest. Maybe they talk about cycle time. Let's say we have this cycle time for example, the project, we have the business case in place and the project is started, right? And maybe the cycle time is now reduced by 30%. That makes sense. That's all right. Or maybe we initiated the project, we've signed the project charter, we assigned a project manager, and from that point until the team is assembled and actual work on the project is started, that time is reduced by 30%. Fine with me. Again, same. So I would take all of that. Business teams are now actively engaged in steering discussions. Some resistance from middle management slowing full implementation. Okay, that's all right. I'm taking that. Team restructuring for integration progress. Shift from silo teams to feature teams. What we did was conducted team restructuring workshops with project leaders, launched 2 feature teams with cross-functional expertise, started pair programming and cross-training sessions. Okay, so it was needed. That's fine. First feature team operational, showing early success. Oh, they even show success. That's fine. Normally, when you restructure teams, they would like have bumpy road at the start when they are trying to learn how to work in these new ways. But if they show early success, that's even better. Improved collaboration, fine. Some cultural resistance from traditional component teams. Okay, that's not the problem at all. Procurement acceleration and quality standard adjustment progress. Okay, so we embedded procurement managers into feature teams. We reviewed and simplified quality approval process. We fast-tracked approvals. And the result, procurement cycle time reduced by 20%. Oh, it hears me. Okay. Now it talks about cycle time. So reduced by 20%. More predictable purchasing timelines for hardware software. Amazing. That's good. Some delays persist due to long-standing vendor contracts. Again, I need to work closely with procurement on these contracts, and maybe we have contract managers in place as well, or maybe legal, and we can talk about how to get out of these long-term contracts if they are not beneficial for Aramco, or how to like close them early, or how to figure out ways to at least not renew the contracts in future, if possible. So we need to work with closely with contract managers on all of that. Okay. AA Analytics operationalization progress. Assign business owners to AA projects, yes, as part of feature teams, I assume. Define clear AI use cases with measurable KPIs, hopefully because we have business owners there. That's why we did that. Improve data quality by implementing data validation processes. Data validation processes is good. That's good. And it could partially improve. Okay, so AI projects now driven by real business needs, which is good. Reduction in model errors due to improved data pipelines. Okay, good. Still need further work on data governance standardization. Yeah, of course. That's fine with me. Because data validation is just one piece of the puzzle. Okay. So, and that's all. Again, for the next iteration, for the month 2 of me working as a digital transformation manager, right? What was the name of the digital solution specialist? Yeah, that's my month number 2 or 3 working as a digital solution specialist. And let's see what actions would I take on my second month. So first of all, we need to continue facilitating governance, right? Whether we have steering committee or whatever for projects in the program, we need to make sure that we still look at that and make sure that the projects have all needed resources in place and the documentation is there. We have roadmap, detailed roadmap at this point, featuring the benefits and how we're going to realize these benefits for this program and work with business stakeholders to understand when and how the benefits are going to be realized, and work with teams within the program to make sure they understand what benefits they need to bring in, or what value they need to deliver, and how this value would contribute to the benefits realization. Because we need to motivate teams, and that's the best source of motivation, when you understand why whatever you build is helpful and brings value. Second most important thing I would focus on is dependencies within the team and cross-team dependencies, because I need to make sure that the team don't suffer from poor management of these dependencies. So these two things that are going to be my main focus. In addition to that, eliminated duplication of efforts. So I think we've just did that, and that's fine. This is now solved. Vendor strategy and internal capability building in progress. Okay, so I would continue working with, come on, just 1 second, sorry. Okay, I would continue working with vendors to make sure that we bring all this expertise in-house, because it looks to me like this is a long-term initiative, long-term program of projects, and we're going to work on it for many years, however many years. Then it makes sense to have in-house expertise rather than external vendors providing services for us. So I would gradually manage this transition from vendors to in-house, and again, only if this makes sense. So we need to assess whether we need this developer long term, or we can have a contractor patching things for us and then get on with their lives, because we don't need them full time. I would continue working with business stakeholders to teach them how to work in Agile way with Agile requirements and how to provide feedback in a meaningful way as well. To make sure that we leverage Agile ways of working in the best possible, maximum possible way. Okay, so in terms of team restructuring for integration progress, I would continue team restructuring as well, and I would work with this cultural resistance from traditional component teams to make sure they understand what are the benefits of Agile ways of working. And again, if they have some sort of issues that they see with this restructuring, coming out of this restructuring, we need to work on these issues. So if we don't have issue log, or maybe even multiple issue logs for initiatives, projects, by that time, I would create an issue log or update issue log with issues that they see, to make sure that their expectations are managed, and we don't face these issues further down the line. And I would work with these guys to mentor and coach them, if I can't delegate it, of course. If I can delegate to managers, that's even better. And make sure that they know how these Agile ways of working are beneficial for the company, and they learn how to do that properly. With vendor contracts, we discussed that. Again, we just need to work with contract managers, legal, and compliance teams to make sure that we get the best possible set of contracts, and procurement is managed in the best possible way. AI analytics operationalization. We need to continue working on the data to make sure that we get the data that is usable for AI predictions and enhancements of the analytics to provide us with meaningful insights that we can use in decision making. So I would work with teams closely, would encourage implementation of best practices in terms of data validation and these clear AI use cases are extremely important as well. We need to understand how we're going to use the data and what reports we need to generate to make sure that that's the data we think of and work with. Okay, that would be all for now. Okay, let's go ahead and let's see how it goes. So positive progress areas, right? We have our CPI and SPI finally. And I'm not sure if we can actually get that for this program. And that's not what we're gonna look at in most cases for the program. But for individual projects, that makes sense. For the program, we would look at benefits realization rather than at SPI. Okay, positive areas. Governance fully operational with business stakeholders engaged in benefit realization discussions. Amazing. Cross-team dependencies identified and managed, reducing workflow bottlenecks. Vendor to internal transition has begun with first internal team absorbing knowledge, business stakeholders adapting to Agile, improving requirement feedback cycle. AI use cases refined, better data validation implemented. Key ongoing challenges. Traditional teams still resistant to Agile, causing minor delays in restructuring. Some vendors' contracts are locked in until year 2, slowing internal capability building. Okay, that's fine. Data governance framework still incomplete, limiting AI model accuracy. Okay. So first things first, I need a set of workshops on data governance framework. We need to figure out and finalize and complete data governance framework because it's ongoing for like 3 months now. And we need some sort of sponsorship as well. So we need someone to make decisions here. And if collaborative approach doesn't work, then maybe we just need someone to just approve one way or the other how the data governance would work. I can do it myself, maybe, but I need to have this set of workshops with key stakeholders related to data governance first to make sure I understand them and issues that arise, and then finalize this data governance framework. Second thing I need to work on is I need to mentor, coach, train people in agile ways of working. I need to continue with that because if we still face resistance from some developers or employees, it means that we might not get optimal results. And I need people to get it, people to understand why the agile is so beneficial in complex environment we're in. So I would do knowledge transfer sessions with especially with people from the business and for the team as well, of course. Retrospective meetings that would include, and knowledge sharing transfers, whatever is needed. Okay, the next one is governance and benefits realization progress. Governance framework fully implemented. Steering committee engaged weekly to review project resource allocation. I don't think we need a weekly steering committee for the project resource allocation. I don't think that resource allocation will change every week. Maybe at the beginning, when we are just building team and changing the team composition, that might be the case. But in future, we would probably change that. Detailed roadmap completed with benefit milestones mapped. Team briefing on how work contributes to larger benefits realization. So teams briefed on that. Amazing. Okay. Stakeholders now better aligned with program goals. Teams motivated, more motivated. Understanding how their contribution brings value. First set of benefits expected to materialize in next quarter. Okay. Amazing. So I don't need to do anything in addition to that, I think. I think that's fine. Managing dependencies and cross-team coordination progress. So dependency mapping completed, high risk interdependencies identified, cross-team stand-ups, improving coordination. So I assume this is kind of Scrum of Scrums or something like that, right? Where we have stakeholders from different teams or team members from different teams talking about like issues that involve all teams. Teams now flagging potential bottlenecks earlier, leading to fast resolution. Yes. Good. Reduce task waiting times by 22%. That's like lead time or cycle time, I assume. Improved handover efficiency, reducing delays in interdependent teams. Amazing. Still some friction in inter-team communication, requiring continued facilitation. We just need to continue doing that and train people. So training would still help. Vendor transition and internal capability building progress. First vendor teams transitioned, internal employees absorbing knowledge, established mentorship structures between vendor experts and internal staff, negotiations with legal compliance teams ongoing to optimize long-term contracts. 15% reduction in cost so far, internal teams handling 30% of transitioned workload independently. Nice, okay. Some vendors still resisting full knowledge transfer, requiring additional contract leverage. I haven't experienced resistance for full knowledge transfer. No, actually I have once with WTC, Wonderman and Thompson. They were reluctant to share information and knowledge on their workflows, everything they consider their organizational process assets. They were the only ones who were reluctant to share knowledge on the functionality they develop for their partners. Everyone else they were okay to share knowledge. So yeah, okay, that's fine. Again, that's fine. We'll figure something out. Let's actually start with that specific point while I'm here, okay? So with vendors that are resisting full knowledge transfer, we need to come up with ways for them to be able to share knowledge with us. This is critical infrastructure for us. We cannot allow it to be a black box or any part of it to be a black box. So we need to know it in full and we need to own it in full. And therefore, they need to transfer this knowledge, and we need to find out ways for them to transfer this knowledge. For example, if they are willing to sell whatever frameworks or whatever they process assets they own, for them to be able to transfer this knowledge, that's fine. Or if we need to build internal capacity and learn it on our side, fine as well. As long as we don't have any black boxes in the solution we're building, because it poses a huge threat down the line. I want in like 5 years not to have that black boxes or functionality without any documentation, or some sort of vendor that did work for us 5 years ago and get on with their lives, and now we have a solution that we can't adjust or or fix or even maintain or like upgrade. So yeah, that's I don't think this is something I would agree to. So I need to negotiate with them, and I need help with maybe even support with sponsors for the program to make sure that all critical infrastructure in terms of software and hardware is on our side, and we have full knowledge and accountability for it, and we're able to maintain and scale it further down the line if needed, without any additional support from outside. That would be my goal. Okay, Agile adoption for business stakeholders progress. Agile feedback cycles implemented, structured feedback loops implemented, Agile-based requirements iteration successfully completed. First Agile-based requirements. So I assume some kind of user stories or something. Results. Feedback turnaround time reduced from 3 weeks to 1 week. That's never the case in like week 1 of implementation of Agile. Maybe like week I don't know. So in like 5th sprint, 6th sprint, I would assume that this is possible. But at the beginning, it takes even more, not less, to build things. But this is wishful thinking from AI, which is fine. I take that. For my purposes, I will win the game even faster because of that. But in practice, this is never the case. In practice, what I would get is when we change requirements from something they know of, like, for example, functional specification document, we turn it into user stories. It means that basically what they do is they do both. They still build functional specification document because that's what they are used to, but also they cater to the needs of the like digital transformation that we have, and they work on agile requirement and disguise functional specification document as a user story. That's what they do typically, and of course they need to spend more time, more effort to do so. And we need to work around that, and we need to train them on why they should not do this and how they can leverage communication and collaboration with business instead of writing rigid and detailed requirements. But again, AI does not know that, which is fortunate for me. I will win the game faster. Stakeholders more engaged in incremental testing and iteration. That's fine. Some business units still reluctant to shift away from rigid waterfall planning. Yeah, that's always the case. Especially like finance is difficult to train in agile ways of working and leveraging of agile contracts. But actually, Saudis are doing tremendous job in employing these agile contracts. And I know that in Aramco they are employed. In Sabic, they are employed agile contracts. That's really amazing. So I would definitely push for us to use agile contracts going forward. Cultural resistance to feature teams' progress. Okay. Mentorship and coaching sessions for traditional teams. Issue log to track concerns and address resistance point. Gradual restructuring rather than forced transition, reducing backlash. 10% increase in voluntary adoption of Agile within component teams. 10% of what exactly? Was it like, I don't know, 1% adoption and now it's 1.1%? Or it was like 50% adoption and now it's like 55%? What does it mean, 10% increase? Identified and resolved 4 major workflow concerns from resistant teams. Nice. Still pockets of resistance requiring ongoing mentorship and coaching. Okay. Vendor contract optimization and procurement speed progress. Legal and compliance teams reviews long-term contract flexibility. Procurement cycles monitored for inefficiencies. Begin negotiation for more flexible performance-based vendor contracts. Procurement lead time reduced by 15%, cost saving of however many millions in year 2. Some contractual obligations still tying us to legacy vendors until next cycle. Still fine. AI analytics operationalization progress. Implemented structured data validation progress, helping define AI use cases, rolled out for early testing. Okay, first AI-powered analytics. Data validation improvements reducing model errors. Nice. AI insights now more aligned with business needs. Okay. Some data governance challenges persist, requiring dedicated ownership. Fine with me as well. So everything works like a charm, basically, at this point. We're gradually improving, and okay, now I have this data validation errors in AI models, 26%, right? Still too much. Still too much. Yeah, we need to improve. We need to improve AI model quality. Next step for month number 5. Okay, I basically what I would say is, okay, let's finish this off, because I think I would just do exactly the same I did in the previous month, which is to support the program and mentor and coach people and look after dependencies, look after benefit realization. And that's exactly what I would do for month 5. So I think we can end the game there. I think I managed to show how I would manage this kind of program of projects. And this would be enough for me to showcase my expertise. And maybe this would be a cover letter that I would send to Aramco, and if they would like to hire me, that's what we would use, and they can actually see how I would manage programs that they have. Okay. So let's go ahead with the conclusion, and let's see how AI would assess executive summary, right? And what did we achieve? Whether we managed to achieve our goals here. But again, I feel like by month 5, I've managed to reach the point where I just need to maintain whatever we have, and it will gradually improve to the level that is acceptable and expected by me as a program manager for that specific program. Okay, Agile cultural shift, final KPI summary, final conclusion, stabilized and future-proofed. Okay, key success factors: ensuring no black box dependencies, nice. Vendor transition plan, business and technical team fully engaged in iterative feedback cycles. Agile culture now embedded. That's that's good things. Okay. And what about bad things? Do I have anything like... Normally, typically, I've played this game over 20 times now, and typically it would say something like the bad things as well. Okay, points of... could you please... improvement for me. I want bad things as well, because good things is good, but this doesn't allow me to grow, and my focus will be to grow. Proactive risk identification and contingency planning. We effectively addressed the risk as they surfaced, but there were some areas like vendor resistance. Yeah, I did not talk about risks at all. That's true. That's true. Which I would definitely do, to be honest. I would manage risks, of course. But the game did not emphasize them, and I didn't dig deep enough. I need to proactively manage risk myself. I need to build risk register. I need to do this myself. Okay, that's fine. And I know that in Aramco we have like risk management departments, if I understand correctly, right? So I would definitely work closely with them, and they would help me with risk management in most cases, I would assume. Okay, so preemptive risk matrix. What's risk matrix? Like, risk matrix is a matrix of impact and probability that would show which risks we are gonna manage, which risks we are gonna just accept, and which risks are like high impact, high probability risks. So yeah, it's AI just doesn't know what this is basically, which is okay, all right. So instead of risk matrix, we need risk management plan. Cultural resistance, compliance hurdles, and all of that should be part of the risk management efforts. Okay, that's fine. Engage legal compliance and executive responsive earlier to secure pre-approved risk mitigation strategies. So instead of waiting for the risks, I could have identified all these risks and preemptively work on risk mitigation plans. That's fine. Yeah, I say yes. I needed to do that and I didn't, so that's fine. Faster vendor transition and knowledge transfer management. Vendor resistance delayed full knowledge transfer, and while it was eventually overcome through negotiation, the process took longer than optimal. What I could do is implement contractual knowledge transfer enforcement clauses at the start of vendor engagements, preventing future resistance. That's interesting. I wasn't sure if I had these clauses, and I remember that I was talking about reviewing contracts with contract managers and procurement, so I would ask them to do that for me instead of doing it myself. But yeah, I'm not sure if I would do that myself. I would probably work closely with procurement and legal and contract managers. Early stage technical immersion programs where internal teams shadow vendor teams from the first sprint, reducing transition friction. I'm not sure about that, to be honest, because if my teams are shadowing vendor teams, it means that they aren't working on something that I need them to work on. So this could benefit the transition, but I could do less than I would. So this is highly debatable. I'm not sure if this is a good practice at all, to be honest, because let's assume that the vendor team needs to build something in 10 sprints, right? 2 weeks each, 5 months. And my team is going to shadow them for 5 months just to have smooth transition. I would rather have less smooth transition, but them working on something meaningful for 4 months and then spend just 1 month or even 1 sprint for the transition, to be honest. So I'm not sure about this one. Consider reverse engineering black box vendor solutions with in-house teams while negotiating efforts are ongoing. Yeah, but this is like last resort. I want to negotiate with them and partner with them and have good relationship with them instead of reverse engineering whatever they've built and basically stealing them, right? Stealing this. So if they have ownership over that, I want them to concede ownership to us. I don't want to steal it from them. So again, kind of I agree this might be the case. So reverse engineering is the only option if, for example, you have a solution that you've bought 10 years ago and you don't have anyone who developed this solution from the time, and the vendor does not exist anymore. They can't help you with this solution as well. So yes, reverse engineering is the only way, but again, I wouldn't do that if I have other options. Driving cultural adoption of feature teams and Agile faster. Adoption was successful. Cultural resistance slowed progress in some areas. Improvement opportunities. Involve resistant teams earlier. Let them co-design the new ways of working rather than just adopting them. Yeah, but I was talking about it. I want them to build their new topology of teams and self-organize into feature teams. So, and that's exactly co-design. So I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, I would stop right there because AI, I think, is not great at people management stuff, because I did that. I talked about it. So not sure. Involve resistant teams earlier. How could I involve resistant teams earlier? I asked them to self-organize into feature teams immediately, as soon as I started. I wanted to change that because of issues with silos, which hindered progress. And it was a complex environment. So I couldn't start it even earlier. Not sure how I can do this. I'll think about it. Clear agile success metrics that business stakeholders can measure, ensuring greater buy-in. That makes sense. Yeah, so work on agile success metrics. This makes sense. So, for example, adoption of cycle time and adoption of lean practices, or adoption of some sort of DevOps practices might be agile metrics that we would use. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Okay, strengthening long-term data governance and AI strategy. Why AI model reliability improved, data governance lacked clear long-term ownership. Yeah, but we had multiple workshops on that with key stakeholders. Assign a dedicated data governance officer, or team to ensure long-term consistency. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, from one point of view that makes sense, but from the other, if we have multiple departments who own data, I'm not sure if one point of data ownership would be beneficial, because these guys, they know these data much better than this data governance officer. But maybe team would be beneficial. Maybe. Establish data quality standards at the portfolio level. Yes, I did not do that. We need that. Yeah, we need that, definitely, for sure. Ensure that AI models continuously evolve by integrating feedback loops where business teams validate model predictions regularly. I thought we have testing, and I have feedback loops in place for that as well. I assume AI did not get that. Yeah, you see, we have this issue where when I'm talking, AI only like sees text, and AI can't read my mind, right? And we've spent only like half an hour on this game. So yeah, I think this is just a miscommunication between me and the game. Okay, growth potential. Creating structured AI governance, you'll ensure long-term model accuracy, usability, and compliance, reducing future risk and data misalignment. I thought we implemented that. Balancing tactical execution with strategic road mapping. You effectively balance execution and strategy, but at times immediate firefighting took priority over long-term planning. Yes. Okay, I need to think more about long-term planning and talk about it with AI instead of just solving issues that are arising. Makes sense. I did think of long-term planning when we talked about benefits realization and dependencies management, but not strategy. I didn't think of strategy enough. Maybe, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, final thoughts. You're operating at a senior strategic level. Thank you for that. I take that. Ability to align business processes, to strong problem-solving skills, adapting dynamically to challenges, leadership in cross-functional teams, and governance restructuring is highly effective. Okay. Next level growth focus. Sharpen proactive risk mitigation skills. Accelerate vendor transition cycles through early planning. Strengthen structured cultural change approaches for faster agile adoption. Okay. Deepen long-term. I'm kind of. Yeah, we've talked about that, but anyway, okay, that's fine. Deepen long-term AI and data governance strategies. Yes, I need that. I need think of more of a strategy rather than solving issues that arise. Balance between tactical execution and strategic vision alignment. Yes. So when I'm gonna play this game next time, I'm gonna talk more about strategy and things that this game doesn't talk about. When it gives me the report, because the report it gives does not feature this strategy. So I need to think of it myself, despite this game not talking about it, which is fine. Okay, so overall, we are operating at a senior strategic level, guys. Nice. I take that. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I will use this game as a cover letter, as I said, to apply for position in Aramco, and let's see how it goes. And maybe speak to some of my friends who can maybe help me with this process as well. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you in the next Yevhen Applies challenge. Bye.